We have before us the MOU, which in essence rolls the current contract over. Whether you agree with the salary survey or you disagree with the salary survey, that it is not an issue at this point. It is strictly for informational purposes. We are not negotiating any increases in pay. And again, you do salary surveys for information and to collect data. We have talked about the pros and cons of salary surveys during the time that I've been on the council, and even before I was on the council. It will always be a contentious issue. Whether it will ever be resolved to everyone's satisfaction is very doubtful. However, you have to look at it from, in my opinion, for what it is worth. It gives us information. It compares or it shows where Dixon stands, regardless of population, to other cities. The work required of the police chief here in Dixon is no different than the work that is required of the police chief in Vacaville or Fairfield, Coalinga, Avenel, Galt, or anywhere else. The difference is there's more staff to take care of those individual issues. So I appreciate the city treasurer's concerns and input. There has been some discussion relative to benefits. Again, this is not something that we are negotiating. This is not a negotiated contract. We're just merely rolling over the existing contract. So, having said that, I'll allow other members of the council. Vice Mayor, do you have anything?
I would like to reiterate that some of these cities, yes, they are large. They do have extensive staff that helps them do their job. Being a police chief in a small city requires that you be multitasking. You may be in the office for hours and hours, but then the next thing you know, you're going to be in the field. It's unlikely that the police chief of Fairfield will be in the field for any time. The risks are the same. The issues are the same. It's unlikely that we could recruit a top-level police chief for our city if we didn't have benefits and salaries that were commensurate with at least the living conditions and requirements of living in a community. And I've gone both ways, from a small city to a large community and the whole Solano County. And so I know that people are touchy about benefits, and they're touchy about salaries. And likewise, the employees that work for us are also touchy. And, you know, you get what you pay for. And I think that this is a reasonable compromise, and we may see more compromise in the future. I don't want to take away from what the treasurer said. I think he has some valid points, and that those may be considerations in the future. But right now, I'd be in favor of approving this.
Councilmember Kappas?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Councilmember Charamillo?
First thing that came to my mind was simply responding to the statements that the mayor and the vice mayor made about doing the police chief's job is the same whether you're in Vallejo or in Dixon.
I didn't say that.
Oh, please.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that either. I said the duties or the requirements of the police
Duties and
chief.
requirements are the same.
Let me finish, please. What I said, if you're going to quote me correctly. What I said was the duties of the police chief, whether they're here in Dixon or in Fairfield or Vacaville, are no different. The difference is there's additional staff to carry out those same duties. Police chief has specific requirements to keep for his duties. So
Yes.
you can continue.
You also said that the police chief here goes out on the job where other people don't. So that statement alone says that the chief here doesn't do things exactly the way they do in large cities. I think that the police officers in the city of Oakland, especially the 4 that got killed this last week or the week before that, would certainly disagree with you that the job is the same here as it is there. This is not a firing range here.
Please, Mr. Chairman,
No,
do not
excuse me.
attempt to equate what I said as a denigrating comment to those officers in Oakland who lost their lives.
I'm not
Do
saying
not
that.
go down that road, sir.
I'm not saying that. That's your misinterpretation of what
No, it's
I
not.
just said.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Your inference is very clear.
The inference, there is no inference. I was direct about it, and I said the job is not the same here as it is there. And for anybody to be as ignorant as
Please,
to say
sir.
something like that, excuse me, would you quit interrupting me?
If you're going to...
Are you either
if
going to
you're
allow me
going
to speak or you're not going to allow me to speak?
I'm going to allow you to speak, but I'm going to ask that you be professional and not use derogatory terms. I don't use derogatory terms to you.
That
Please
is
do not
your
use them with me.
choice.
Continue.
Now, as I was saying, if you want to be ignorant and claim that it's the same when there's an obvious difference there, that's your problem. The things that Mr. Dingman brought up about the salary survey is absolutely appropriate.
Didn't say it wasn't.
No, I didn't say that you did, Rick. This is the same faulty situation that we've had in the past. And Mr. Batcher, you're saying that it'll never get resolved. It's never going to get resolved if we keep doing it the same way we've been doing it. But that is not what is on the table tonight. What is on the table is rolling over this contract. We have a budget coming up that we're going to be looking at in May. My question to you is, why are we rolling this over when we don't know the impacts from the budget and having to cut back? From what I understand, we still have to cut back $1.3 million. Why would we go ahead and roll this over, locking in a higher base salary before we've even looked at the budget to determine exactly what we have in the way of revenues to pay for our expenses? I think that this thing could be postponed, and it should be postponed until after our budget hearings for a final resolution on the matter.
Thank you. Mr. Kaler?
Okay, let me address first of all, the list of comparison. You know, we're shown a list of cities of similar size, but people in Dixon are not going to go there to work because of the distance involved. What we're looking at here is a list of cities, many of which are in direct competition to the city of Dixon when it comes to hiring personnel. People live in Dixon and they work in many of these cities, if not in some cases most. I mean, I knew a man who regularly commuted from Placerville to Travis, so distance is not seen as a problem, but people will go for salaries, and we have to compete that way. And that's just a fact. Like it or not, they go for salaries, and they're willing to climb in their car and drive a distance to do that. There are some valid points that have been made, but I think this is the time to roll this over. There are no increases in this, and for that, I think we can be thankful, and that we are able to just roll it over and not have to deal with something that comes up at the budget time.
Okay, thank you.
Increase.
We've had opportunity for public comment. Any public comment other than what we've already had? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion then to adopt the resolution approving memorandum of understanding with the Dixon Senior Management Association for the period of July 1, 2009 through June 30th, 2010.
So moved.
I second it.
Moved by Councilmember Kappas, seconded by Councilmember Kaler. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Councilmembers Kaler,
Aye.
Termello,
No.
Pappas,
Aye.
Fuller,
Aye.
Mayor Batchel.
Aye.